Have you ever felt that sinking feeling in your stomach when something just doesn't feel right in your relationship? That nagging doubt that keeps you up at night? Well, today's story is about Emma, a woman who accidentally stumbled upon a truth that would change her marriage forever. What she discovered left her questioning everything she thought she knew about the man she married. Hi there, welcome back to another episode on our Heartfelt channel. Before we dive into today's emotional journey, if you're new here, please take a moment to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss one of our true life stories. I'd love to know where you're watching from today. Drop your location in the comments below and let me know if you've ever experienced something similar to what we're about to discuss today. Your stories and insights mean the world to us. I never thought I'd be sharing this story with anyone. The embarrassment, the hurt, the betrayal, it was all too much to bear alone. But I'm hoping by sharing my experience, it might help someone else going through something similar. My name is Emma, and until 3 months ago, I thought I had the perfect marriage with my husband, James. We'd been together for 7 years, married for 5. From the outside, everything looked picture perfect. The beautiful suburban home, successful careers, weekend barbecues with friends, and plans to start a family soon. James was always the life of the party, charismatic, funny, and everyone's favorite person to be around. I used to joke that I was the luckiest woman alive to have snagged him. If only I had known what was happening behind my back. It was a normal Friday evening. James had gone out with his work colleagues for their monthly happy hour, something that had become routine over the past year. I didn't think anything of it. I was looking forward to having the house to myself, planning to enjoy a glass of wine and catch up on my favorite shows. Around 8 p.m., James texted that he'd be home late. "Don't wait up," he wrote. "The guys want to check out this new bar downtown." I sent back a quick, "Have fun, be safe," and settled in for my quiet evening alone. But around 10 p.m., James's work friend Mike called our home phone. "Hey Emma, is James there? We got separated at the restaurant and he's not answering his cell." My heart skipped a beat. "What do you mean? I thought you were all at the happy hour together." There was an awkward pause on the line. Happy hour? We didn't have one scheduled for today. Most of us worked late on the Johnson project. The room started spinning. Where was James if not with his coworkers? I thanked Mike and hung up, my mind racing with possibilities. Maybe there was a miscommunication? Maybe James had gone out with other friends and just got confused when telling me? I tried calling James, but his phone went straight to voicemail. I texted him, but there was no response. I couldn't help but feel something was terribly wrong. Around midnight, I heard the front door open. James stumbled in, clearly intoxicated. He didn't seem surprised to see me still awake, sitting in the dark living room. "Hey, babe," he slurred, dropping his keys on the side table. "Thought you'd be asleep by now." "Where were you, James?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. "Told you. Happy hour with the guys," he mumbled, making his way to the kitchen for water. "That's interesting because Mike called looking for you. He said there was no happy hour today." James froze, water glass halfway to his lips. Then he chuckled, though I could see panic flash across his face. "Oh, not the work guys. I meant my old college buddies, must have mixed up when I texted you." Something in his tone didn't sit right with me, but he was too drunk to have a proper conversation, so I let it go for the night. But I couldn't sleep, questions swirling in my mind. The next morning, James was up early despite his hangover, which was unusual for him. He made breakfast, was extra affectionate, and suggested we go for a hike, one of my favorite activities. It felt like he was overcompensating, but I went along with it, hoping to get some answers when the moment felt right. During our hike, James's phone kept buzzing in his pocket. Each time he would check it quickly and put it away, his expression unchanging but tense. When he went to take a photo of the view, I noticed he had put his phone on silent, but notifications were still lighting up the screen. After our hike, we stopped for lunch at a small cafe. James excused himself to use the restroom, leaving his phone face down on the table. I had never been the type to snoop, but something felt so off that I couldn't help myself. Just as I reached for his phone, it lit up with another notification, a text message that was partially visible on the lock screen. "Last night was amazing. When can you get away again? She still doesn't suspect anything?" My hands trembled as I set the phone back down exactly as he had left it. When James returned, I somehow managed to make it through lunch, smiling and making conversation as if my world wasn't crashing down around me. That evening, after James had fallen asleep, I sat alone in our living room, trying to process what I had seen. Part of me wanted to wake him up and confront him immediately, but another part needed more proof. What if there was an explanation I wasn't seeing? For the next week, I paid closer attention to James's patterns. The work happy hours had apparently been happening more frequently over the past 6 months. He was protective of his phone, always keeping it face down and taking it with him even when just going to another room. He had been working later, and there were unexplained expenses on our credit card from restaurants I'd never heard of. Then came the night that confirmed everything. James had gone for what he claimed was a team-building dinner. I had decided to meet up with my friends for drinks to distract myself from my growing suspicions. We were at a popular downtown restaurant with a bar area when I froze mid-sentence. There, in a cozy corner booth, was James. Not with his coworkers, but with a woman I didn't recognize. They weren't just having dinner. They were holding hands across the table, looking at each other in a way that made my stomach turn. My friend Sarah followed my gaze and immediately understood. "Do you want to leave?" she whispered. But something in me needed to see more. I shook my head, and we moved to a different part of the bar where I could still observe them without being seen. For an hour, I watched my husband with this stranger. The way he laughed with her, the way he touched her hand, the way he looked at her. It was how he used to look at me, years ago when we first met. Around 10 p.m., they paid their bill and left together. I didn't follow them. I didn't need to see anymore. When James came home around midnight, he casually mentioned that the team dinner had run late, and they'd gone for drinks after. I just nodded, unable to trust my voice. I excused myself to bed, claiming a headache. For days, I walked around in a daze, unsure of what to do with what I knew. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. Friends noticed something was wrong, but I couldn't bring myself to tell them. Saying it out loud would make it real. Then came the moment that finally pushed me to confront the situation. It was a Saturday afternoon, and James had gone to what he claimed was a gym session. I was cleaning our home office when I found a receipt that had fallen behind the desk. It was for a silver necklace from an expensive jewelry store, purchased just 2 weeks before. My birthday had passed months ago, and our anniversary wasn't for another 3 months. And I certainly had never received such a necklace. When James returned home that evening, I was sitting at the kitchen table, the receipt in front of me. He noticed it immediately, his face draining of color. "Who is she, James?" I asked quietly. He started to deny it, to make up some explanation about the necklace being a surprise gift for me that he was saving, but I cut him off. "I saw you with her at Riverside Grill last week. I know about the texts. I know about the lies about working late and happy hours. Just tell me the truth. I deserve at least that much." James sank into the chair across from me, his shoulders slumped in defeat. "Her name is Vanessa," he finally said. "We met at a conference 6 months ago." "Do you love her?" The question escaped my lips before I could stop it. He couldn't look me in the eye. "I don't know, maybe. It's complicated. And what am I? Just the stupid wife who's too naive to figure it out?" I couldn't keep the bitterness from my voice. James looked up then, genuine regret in his eyes. "That's not fair. You're not stupid. I got caught up in something I didn't know how to end. You could have talked to me if something was wrong between us." "Nothing was wrong. That's what makes this worse," he admitted. "I just liked the attention, the excitement. And then it became this whole other life I was living." We talked for hours that night, really talked, in a way we hadn't in years. James admitted that he had confided in Vanessa about our relationship, often making it sound worse than it was to justify his actions. He'd told her I was controlling, uninterested in intimacy, focused only on my career, none of which was true. The betrayal of those lies hurt almost as much as the affair itself. But the final blow came when James revealed something that I still can't fully process. One night when he'd had too much to drink, he was with Vanessa and some of her friends at a bar. They were talking about their relationships, and James, thinking I would never find out, had joked about how I was too naive to realize what had been happening. He described how he'd come home late, reeking of another woman's perfume, with obvious signs of having been with someone else, and I'd believe whatever excuse he gave. They all laughed, he said, unable to meet my eyes. And I laughed too. It's the thing I'm most ashamed of. I sat there, absolutely stunned. Not only had my husband been cheating on me, but he had been mocking me to his mistress and her friends. The humiliation was almost too much to bear. That night, I asked James to leave. I needed space to think, to decide what this meant for our marriage. He went to stay with his brother, calling and texting constantly over the next few days, begging for forgiveness, promising to end things with Vanessa, offering to go to couples counseling. For 2 weeks, I barely functioned. I took time off work, ignored most calls, and just tried to process everything. My mother came to stay with me, providing silent support as I moved through my grief. The hardest part wasn't even the affair itself, but the realization that the person I trusted most in the world had not only betrayed that trust, but had found my trust laughable. Had I really been so blind? So naive? Looking back, the signs had been there. The late nights, the protective behavior with his phone, the decreased intimacy between us. But I had trusted him completely, never questioning his explanations because I couldn't imagine him hurting me this way. After 3 weeks of separation, I agreed to meet James for coffee at a neutral location. He looked terrible. He'd lost weight, had dark circles under his eyes, and seemed genuinely remorseful. He slid a folder across the table to me. "What's this?" I asked. "Proof that it's over with Vanessa. Screenshots of my text ending things, email confirmation for our first counseling appointment if you're willing to try," and he hesitated. "My agreement to a post-nuptial agreement that my lawyer drew up. If I ever cheat again, you get everything." I was surprised by how thorough he'd been, but still unsure. Why should I believe any of this? How do I know this isn't just another performance? "Because I realized what I was about to lose," he said simply. Because when I was honest with myself about why I did what I did, the thrill, the ego boost, the escape from real-life responsibilities, none of it was worth destroying us. None of it was worth losing you. I'd like to say we had an immediate reconciliation, that love conquered all, but real life isn't a fairy tale. I agreed to the counseling sessions, but not to James moving back home. We started with 1 session a week, then 2. We began having dinner together occasionally, rebuilding our foundation brick by brick. Our counselor helped us identify the issues we hadn't even recognized. How James used external validation to boost his self-worth, how I had become complacent in our relationship, assuming everything was fine, because I didn't want to rock the boat. We learned to communicate better, to check in with each other emotionally, to be more present. 3 months later, James moved back in, though we agreed to sleep in separate bedrooms at first. Trust doesn't return overnight, and I needed to see consistent behavior over time. There were setbacks. There were nights I'd wake up in tears, remembering the image of him with her. There were times he'd get defensive when I needed more reassurance. But slowly, day by day, we rebuilt. The hardest part for me to overcome was the memory of him laughing with his friends about my naivety. One night, during a particularly difficult therapy session, I finally admitted this. "I can forgive the affair eventually," I told him, "but I don't know if I can forget that you thought I was a joke." James broke down then, more than I'd ever seen before. "I didn't think you were a joke," he said through tears. I was the joke, so insecure that I needed to pretend I had power over you to impress people who meant nothing to me. I belittled the best thing in my life because I was too weak to appreciate it. That moment felt like a turning point. For the first time, I truly believed he understood the depth of what he had done. Today, 6 months after discovering James's affair, I can't say our marriage is perfect. I don't know if it ever will be again. But it's honest now, more so than it ever was. We've both grown, learned hard truths about ourselves and each other. I chose to share this story not because I want sympathy, but because I want others who might be going through something similar to know that whatever choice you make, whether to try to rebuild your relationship or to walk away, should be made from a place of strength, not fear or embarrassment. If you're the one who's been betrayed, know that you're not stupid for trusting someone you loved. Trust is not a weakness. It's a gift that some people aren't worthy of. And if you're the one who betrayed that trust, understand that real redemption takes more than words. It takes consistent actions over time and genuine remorse that focuses on the hurt you caused, not just your own feelings of guilt. Our story is still being written. Some days I'm hopeful about our future. Other days I wonder if I'll ever fully trust again. But I know that whatever happens, I'm stronger now. I know my worth. And I'll never again allow anyone to make me feel naive for expecting basic honesty and respect in my relationship. Thank you for listening to Emma's powerful story today. Relationships can be complicated, and betrayal leaves deep wounds that take time to heal. Whether you've been in Emma's shoes or James's, or you're just grateful to have never experienced this kind of pain, I hope this story has touched your heart and perhaps given you some perspective. And if Emma's journey resonated with you, please hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss any of our heartfelt stories. Your support means everything to us, and we're committed to bringing you more real, emotional content that speaks to the human experience. Also, if you feel comfortable, share your thoughts or similar experiences in the comments below. This channel is about creating a community where we can all learn from each other's journeys. Until next time, take care of yourselves and your relationships.